Hey everyone, before we dive into this wild story, please hit that subscribe button to join our channel for more crazy workplace tales. I started at the company quietly, slipping into the office with no fanfare or grand introduction. My role was unique. Technically, I was the new CEO, but I chose to keep it low-key to observe the team's dynamics. The office buzzed with the usual corporate hum, phones ringing, keyboards clacking, and whispers of office gossip. My desk was tucked in a corner, shared with interns who shuffled papers and fetched coffee. I wore casual clothes, blending in, just another face in the crowd. Nobody knew my real position, not even Sarah, the secretary who greeted me with a dismissive nod. She assumed I was just another intern, and I didn't correct her. I wanted to see how people operated without the weight of my title. Sarah's tone was sharp, her instructions curt, like she was babysitting a clueless newbie. I smiled and nodded, playing along, taking notes on her behavior. The office was a hierarchy of egos, and I was invisible in the best way. I overheard conversations, caught snide remarks, and saw who slacked off. Sarah, though, she was the queen bee, strutting around, barking orders. By the end of day one, she'd labeled me the intern to everyone. I let it slide, knowing the truth would come out soon enough. The next morning, Sarah handed me a stack of files to copy, her voice dripping with condescension. "Interns don't get to sit around," she snapped, pointing to the copier. I complied, scanning documents while listening to her gossip with a coworker nearby. She mocked my lack of experience, saying I'd never survive the corporate world. I bit my tongue, amused by her confidence in my supposed incompetence. The other interns, young and eager, followed her lead, treating me like I was beneath them. I kept my head down, observing how Sarah wielded her influence over the team. She thrived on control, doling out tasks like a dictator in a pencil skirt. Meanwhile, I attended meetings incognito, sitting in the back, taking mental notes. The senior staff discussed budgets, strategies, and layoffs, unaware I was the one who'd finalize their plans. Sarah's name came up often. She was efficient but divisive. I saw her charm the managers while belittling the lower staff. By noon, she'd spread the intern label further, and people stopped making eye contact. It was isolating, but I saw it as a test of character, hers and mine. On day 3, I caught Sarah rolling her eyes when I asked a simple question about the printer. "Interns should know this stuff," she muttered, loud enough for others to hear. The office chuckled, and I played along, feigning embarrassment. But inside, I was cataloging every interaction, every slight. I noticed how she favored certain employees, giving them easier tasks while piling work on others. The interns, desperate for approval, scrambled to please her. I started to see the cracks in the office culture: favoritism, fear, and resentment. Sarah's power came from her gatekeeping. She controlled access to the managers. I kept working, fetching her coffee, filing her papers, all while drafting the company's new budget in my head. At lunch, I overheard her bragging about keeping the interns in line. She had no idea I was the one signing off on her next paycheck. I decided to bide my time, letting her dig her own grave. The office was a stage, and I was ready for the big reveal. By the end of the week, Sarah's attitude had infected the whole team. People barely spoke to me, assuming I was just a temporary hire. I didn't mind. It gave me clarity on who was genuine and who played the corporate game. Sarah's emails were curt, her instructions laced with impatience. "Intern, fix this spreadsheet," she'd say, not even looking up. I fixed it, perfectly, noticing errors she'd overlooked. She took credit without a thank you, which wasn't surprising. I spent my evenings reviewing company reports, preparing for my first board meeting. The contrast was surreal. By day, I was the errand boy. By night, I was restructuring the company. Sarah's behavior grew bolder. She'd openly criticize me in front of others. "This intern's useless," she'd laugh, and the room would join in. I kept my cool, knowing the truth was my ace. The office was a pressure cooker, and I was about to turn up the heat. Week 2 brought a new challenge: A major project deadline loomed, and Sarah was in charge. She delegated the grunt work to me and the other interns, keeping the important tasks for herself. I noticed her work was sloppy, typos in reports, miscalculated figures. I quietly corrected them, saving her from embarrassment. She never noticed, but the managers did, praising her for flawless work. I let it slide, focusing on my own plan. I was drafting a memo to announce my role, but I wanted the timing to be perfect. Sarah's ego was ballooning. She strutted around like she owned the place. Meanwhile, I was in touch with HR, ensuring payroll was ready for my signature. The interns started warming up to me, sensing I wasn't like them but not sure why. Sarah, though, doubled down, calling me the slow intern in a team email. I printed that email, tucking it away for later. The board meeting was scheduled for Friday, and I spent the week preparing in secret. Sarah had no clue, still treating me like her personal assistant. She'd snap her fingers, demanding I fetch her lunch or organize her desk. I did it with a smile, knowing the clock was ticking. The office had fully bought into her narrative. I was the bumbling intern, barely worth their time. But I was watching, learning who was loyal, who was lazy, who was kind. One intern, Jake, started to suspect something. He saw me reading a financial report and raised an eyebrow. I shrugged, keeping my cover. Sarah's gossip grew nastier. She hinted I might not last the month. I let her talk, knowing her words would haunt her soon. The night before the meeting, I finalized my presentation. It was time to show the office who I really was. Thursday was chaotic. Sarah was stressed about the project and took it out on everyone. She screamed at me for a minor typo in a document I hadn't even written. The office watched, some smirking, others uncomfortable. I apologized calmly, fixing the error while she ranted. Later, I overheard her telling a coworker I was hopeless. I didn't react, but I was done playing nice. I spent the evening polishing my speech for the board. It outlined my vision for the company, including changes to address the toxic culture Sarah thrived in. I also prepared the payroll, signing each check with a flourish. Sarah's name was on one, and I smiled at the irony. The office was about to get a wake-up call, and I was ready to deliver it. I went to bed calm, knowing tomorrow would change everything. Friday morning, I arrived early, dressed sharper than usual. Sarah noticed but didn't comment, just handed me another stack of papers. I took them, knowing this was her last chance to boss me around. The board meeting was at noon, and the office was buzzing with anticipation. Sarah was presenting first, oblivious to my role. I sat in the back, watching her fumble through her slides. She took credit for my corrections, basking in the board's approval. When it was my turn, I stood, introducing myself as the new CEO. The room went silent. Sarah's face turned pale, her jaw dropping. I kept my tone professional, outlining my plans and subtly referencing the office's issues. The board nodded, impressed. Sarah looked like she wanted to disappear. After the meeting, the news spread like wildfire. Sarah avoided me, but I could feel her panic. I called a staff meeting to clarify my role and set expectations. People were stunned, some apologetic, others nervous. I kept it professional, focusing on the company's future. Sarah sat in the back, silent, her usual bravado gone. I didn't call her out directly. I didn't need to. Her own actions had exposed her. I assigned new tasks, redistributing responsibilities to balance the workload. The interns, including Jake, looked at me with newfound respect. I ended the meeting by signing the payroll in front of everyone. Sarah's eyes widened as I handed her check over. The message was clear. I was in charge now. The aftermath was surreal. People started treating me differently, some overly polite, others avoiding me altogether. Sarah was quieter, her confidence shattered. I didn't fire her. I wanted her to learn from this. I gave her a chance to redeem herself, assigning her a project to prove her worth. She was competent when she wasn't playing power games. The office culture shifted. People were more cautious, more respectful. I kept my door open, encouraging honesty and collaboration. The interns became my allies, sharing insights about the team. Jake even apologized for buying into Sarah's narrative. I told him it was fine. I'd learned more as the intern than I ever would have as the CEO. The experience shaped my leadership, and I was ready to rebuild the team. The next week, I focused on rebuilding trust. I met with each employee, listening to their concerns and ideas. Sarah was nervous during our meeting, stumbling over her words. I kept it professional, giving her clear expectations. She nodded, promising to improve. I could tell she was shaken, but I wasn't here to punish. I wanted a stronger team, not a vendetta. The office was still adjusting to my reveal, with whispers following me everywhere. I ignored them, focusing on the company's goals. We were behind on revenue targets, and I had a plan to fix it. I rolled out new initiatives, cutting wasteful spending and boosting morale. The interns were thrilled, finally feeling valued. Sarah, though, struggled to adapt. She wasn't used to being accountable. I kept an eye on her, knowing she'd either step up or slip further. By midweek, Sarah tried to regain her old influence, but it wasn't the same. People were wary, remembering how she'd treated me. I noticed her work improving, though. She was meticulous now, double-checking everything. I gave her credit where it was due, which surprised her. The office was starting to function like a team, not a hierarchy. I introduced weekly meetings where everyone could pitch ideas, no matter their role. Jake suggested a new marketing strategy, and I greenlit it. Sarah stayed quiet during these sessions, but I could see her listening. The other employees were opening up, sharing frustrations about the old culture. I took notes, planning changes to address them. The payroll signatures became my ritual, a reminder of my authority. Sarah flinched every time I signed her check. The interns became my secret weapon. They knew the office's inner workings better than anyone. I tasked them with a project to streamline our filing system, and they delivered. Sarah, used to controlling that domain, was visibly frustrated. I paired her with Jake to work on it together, forcing collaboration. She resisted at first, but Jake's enthusiasm was infectious. I watched them from my office, seeing her slowly adapt. The office vibe was shifting. Less fear, more creativity. I started mentoring the interns, teaching them skills beyond their roles. They were eager, asking questions Sarah never thought to ask. I realized the old culture had stifled potential. My time as the intern showed me how much talent was overlooked. I was determined to change that. Sarah's project came due, and she presented it nervously. It was solid, better than I expected. I praised her publicly, which threw her off. She wasn't used to genuine feedback. The team noticed, and it set a new tone. I wanted accountability, not obedience. I started rotating leadership roles for projects, giving everyone a chance to shine. The senior staff were skeptical, but the results spoke for themselves. Productivity was up, and morale was improving. Sarah was still guarded, but she was trying. I caught her helping an intern with a task, unprompted. It was small, but it was progress. I kept signing those paychecks, each one a reminder of the power dynamic. The office was healing, but there was still work to do. A month in, the company was hitting its stride. Revenue was up, and the board was pleased. I got emails from employees thanking me for the changes. Sarah was quieter now, focusing on her work instead of her status. I gave her more responsibility, testing her growth. She handled it well, earning back some respect. The interns were thriving, pitching ideas that rivaled the senior staff's. Jake was a standout, and I started grooming him for leadership. The office gossip had shifted. No more intern jokes, just talk of progress. I kept my approach humble, remembering my days in the corner desk. Those weeks as the intern taught me empathy, patience, and strategy. I was shaping a company that valued people over egos. One day, Sarah asked to speak privately. She apologized for her behavior, admitting she'd misjudged me. I accepted it, keeping my response short but kind. She was trying to change, and I respected that. I told her to focus on her strengths and lead by example. She nodded, looking relieved. The office was now a place where mistakes could be learning opportunities, not career enders. I rolled out a mentorship program, pairing senior staff with juniors. Sarah mentored an intern, and I saw her confidence return, this time without the arrogance. The payroll signatures continued, each one a quiet victory. The team was coming together, and I felt proud of what we'd built. The next board meeting was a triumph. I presented our progress, highlighting the team's efforts. The board was impressed, asking about my unconventional start. I told them the truth. Posing as an intern showed me the company's soul. They laughed, but they got it. Sarah was in the room, listening quietly. I gave her credit for her recent work, and she looked stunned. After the meeting, employees started approaching me with ideas, unafraid. The culture was shifting for good. I kept my door open, my desk still in that corner, a reminder of where I started. The interns were now my eyes and ears, reporting back on morale. The company was stronger, and so was I. Sarah's transformation wasn't perfect, but it was real. She stopped micromanaging and started collaborating. I saw her laugh with Jake over a shared joke, a far cry from her old self. The office was buzzing with energy, projects moving faster than ever. I introduced bonuses for standout work, and the interns were first in line. They'd earned it, and the senior staff agreed. I kept signing paychecks, each one a symbol of trust. Sarah's checks were no different. She was part of the team now, not above it. I started planning a company-wide retreat to solidify our new culture. The interns were excited, brainstorming activities. I realized I'd built something lasting, all because I'd played the intern first. By month 2, the office was unrecognizable. People worked together, not against each other. Sarah was a leader now, not a gatekeeper. She thanked me privately for giving her a chance. I told her it was her choice to step up. The interns were pitching bigger projects, and I gave them the green light. Jake was leading one, with Sarah's support. The senior staff were adapting, some faster than others. I kept my approach hands-on, joining team meetings and brainstorming sessions. The corner desk stayed mine, a symbol of humility. The payroll signatures were now routine, but they never lost their weight. I'd turned a toxic workplace into a thriving one, and it felt good. Looking back, those first weeks as the intern were the hardest but the most valuable. I saw the company's flaws up close: ego, division, fear. Sarah's behavior was just a symptom of a broken culture. By staying silent, I learned who I could trust and who needed to grow. The reveal wasn't about revenge, it was about resetting the tone. Sarah's journey mirrored the company's. She had to shed her old ways to thrive. The interns, once invisible, were now the heart of the team. Jake was on track for a promotion, and Sarah was mentoring others. I kept signing those paychecks, each one a reminder of my responsibility. The office was a team now, and I was proud to lead it. As the company grew, so did our reputation. Clients noticed our energy, our results. I got calls from competitors, curious about our turnaround. I didn't share the full story, just said we'd focused on people. Sarah was now a key player, leading projects with confidence. She'd learned to listen, not just command. The interns were pitching ideas directly to the board, a first for the company. I made sure everyone's voice was heard, no matter their title. The corner desk was still mine, though I'd added a nameplate, Intern turned CEO. It got laughs, but it kept me grounded. The payroll signatures were my favorite part of the week, a quiet ritual of trust. We were building something bigger than ourselves. One day, Jake came to me with a bold idea: a new product line. I let him run with it, pairing him with Sarah for support. They worked well together, balancing creativity and discipline. The office watched, inspired by their collaboration. I started a feedback system, letting employees rate our culture anonymously. The results were glowing, with suggestions for even more growth. Sarah's name came up as a positive influence, a far cry from her old reputation. I kept mentoring the team, sharing lessons from my intern days. The experience taught me to lead with empathy, not authority. The paychecks kept coming, each one a testament to our progress. I was proud, but never complacent. The retreat was a hit. We spent a weekend team building, laughing, and planning. Sarah led a workshop, earning applause from the team. The interns organized games, showing off their creativity. I watched from the sidelines, seeing a company transformed. Back at the office, we hit our revenue goals early. The board gave me a bonus, but I split it with the team. They'd earned it more than I had. Sarah thanked me privately, saying she'd never expected to change. I told her everyone could, with the right push. The corner desk stayed, a reminder of where I'd started. The payroll signatures felt like a privilege now, not a power play. By month 3, we were a case study in success. Industry blogs wrote about our turnaround, though they didn't know the full story. I kept my intern experience private, sharing it only with the team. Sarah was now a mentor to 2 new hires, guiding them with patience. Jake's product line was in development, with early buzz from clients. The interns were no longer just interns, they were innovators. I introduced a profit-sharing plan, tying everyone's success to the company's. The office cheered, united in purpose. My corner desk was a symbol, but the paychecks were the heartbeat. Each signature reminded me of the trust we'd built. Sarah's growth was the most surprising. She'd gone from gatekeeper to leader, earning respect through action. She apologized again, this time in front of the team. I respected her courage. The office was now a place where people took risks, knowing they'd be supported. Jake's project launched successfully, earning him a promotion. The interns were thriving, some eyeing leadership roles. I kept my approach open, meeting with everyone regularly. The culture was collaborative, not cutthroat. The payroll signatures were a ritual I cherished, each one a promise kept. We weren't perfect, but we were real. The board asked me to speak at a conference about our success. I told the intern story, leaving out Sarah's name. The audience loved it, asking for tips on leadership. I said it was simple: listen, learn, and lead with humility. Back at the office, Sarah was running her own team, thriving in her role. The interns were pitching new ideas weekly, fearless. I started a training program to keep the momentum going. The corner desk was now a legend, with new hires asking to see it. The paychecks kept coming, each signature a reminder of our journey. I was leading a company I believed in, built on trust. One day, a new intern joined us, nervous and eager. I saw myself in her, remembering those early days. I took her under my wing, showing her the ropes. Sarah noticed and smiled, a silent acknowledgement. The office was a community now, not a battleground. Jake's product was a hit, bringing in new clients. The interns were leading projects, their confidence soaring. I kept the feedback system going, tweaking our culture based on input. The payroll signatures were my anchor, grounding me in purpose. I'd turned a toxic workplace into a thriving one, and it started with being just the intern. Sarah and I had a final meeting that month. She thanked me for the chance to grow, admitting she'd been wrong about me. I told her we'd both learned something. She was now a leader I trusted, and the team felt the same. The interns were running their own projects, with Jake mentoring the newest hires. The company was hitting record profits, but the real win was the culture. People stayed late not because they had to, but because they wanted to. My corner desk was a relic, but I kept it. The payroll signatures were my way of saying, we're in this together. I'd built a team that could weather anything. Looking back, the intern label was a gift. It showed me the company's heart, its flaws, and its potential. Sarah's mistake was a catalyst, forcing me to lead differently. The interns taught me resilience. The senior staff taught me patience. Jake taught me to trust young talent. The office was now a place where everyone had a voice. I kept signing those paychecks, each one a reminder of our shared success. The journey wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I'd taken a broken system and made it whole, all because I started at the bottom. The corner desk stayed, and so did my gratitude. Now, the company is thriving, and I'm still learning. Sarah's a leader, not a gatekeeper. Jake's a rising star. The interns are the future, and I'm investing in them. The office hums with purpose, not fear. I still sign every paycheck, each one a symbol of trust. My time as the intern shaped me, showing me what matters: people, not titles. I lead with empathy, not ego, and it's made all the difference. The corner desk is my reminder to stay humble. We're building something special, and it started with a lie that became my truth. I'm proud of this team, and I'm just getting started. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If you loved this story, please subscribe to our channel for more epic workplace tales.